is HorseGirlTV. Today we're in Warrenton, Virginia at Horse Country to talk with Wendy Saunders, sales manager, about dressing for the hunt. Wendy, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad you could come.
As you know, I'm personally interested in fox hunting. So what is the first thing I need to know about hunt attire?
The first thing you need to know is that it's basically simple pieces of your equipment and outfit that you probably already have in your closet. That everything is designed for practicality, function, and comfort for long hours in the saddle. Every piece has a purpose. Every piece can be used as something else, and they're all worn for a reason.
Okay. What are the key, like the main basic components that I would need to go fox hunting?
Those would be your hat, your black jacket, your white shirt, your white stock tie, canary vest, breeches that are tan, buff, or canary, and black dress boots.
And I heard that there's a cool story about the stock tie, why the stock tie was brought in.
Well, the stock tie was first for warmth around the rider's neck because the jacket has a V-neck. And so when you wore a stock, it kept the wind from ripping down into your coat and getting you cold. But also, if there's an accident in the field to either a horse or to a person, that fourfold stock can come off, become a tourniquet, can become a bandage, and that's also why you use just a plain gold safety pin, because it may end up having to be functional on the leg of a horse. And also, if you break a stirrup leather, you can knot your fourfold stock tie up and ride home safely. If you break a rein, it becomes a spare rein. If you have to pull a horse out of a bog, you get a couple of them. And
I love the practicality.
It is.
Awesome.
That's what it is. I mean, that's because when people fox hunted, they were out there for hours and they were far away from home, and it wasn't a question of, picking up a cell phone and saying, hey, send the truck and trailer. It was, maybe you had a groom you could send 5 miles back.
But you got to get out now.
Exactly.
Is there a standard attire, or does it vary by hunt? Because I've seen people in different dresses from the little bit I've seen out.
Sure. Every outfit is basically the same. But from hunt to hunt, there will be some differences. Some hunts prefer their ladies in navy coats. Some hunts want their members wearing a brick breech, and usually that's based on a historical reason. But for most times, if you wanted to show up and be sure that you would not be looked at in askance, you would be wearing your basic black boots, buff breeches, black coat, and your white stock tie and stock shirt, and a hat, and you would be good to go. Gloves are optional, but if they're worn, they should be brown.
Okay. And
generally.
Since we are in Virginia, you mentioned the brick breech, and I'm almost 100% sure that you know the story behind that. Would you mind telling me?
Well, it happened when the men were gone, life was a little harder, and it was used for the sake of not having to wash them very often. They don't show the dirt, especially
Virginia
the red clay. Exactly. Exactly. So that's why those were worn.
Okay. I just think there's all these little things about this that I'm learning that are just, it makes sense.
It all does, and that's why when people call and ask me questions about attire or what's proper, I always say, first check with your master, go right to the source, ask your master, but generally these are the rules and traditions, and they're based in traditions, and they all have a purpose.
And like you said, it is really just simple.
It is. I mean, it really is something that with a little bit of common sense and forethought, most people will go, oh, sure, that makes sense. Exactly.
So you've seen the show?
I have.
Okay. So you know every episode we have Horse Girl Mail.
I do.
And this episode, Michaela from Virginia Beach writes in and says, Dear Horse Girl TV, my groom kit always seems to be a mess. What's the worst part would be the brushes that I would use on my mare's body. I was wondering if you had helpful ideas on how to clean dirty body brushes and how to keep them clean, or how to organize my groom kit for my mare.
That's a great question, and there is something specifically designed to clean your brushes. It's called brush therapy, and you empty it into a bucket of water, slosh your brushes around, and it gets them clean. It's antimicrobial, so if you have an issue going around the barn, it's a way to make sure that your brushes aren't contaminating your horse. As far as organizing them, compartmented grooming totes are very popular in plastic or wood. The key to organizing them is however you like to organize them, by size or by purpose. Empty the box out on a regular basis to get all the loose hair and stuff out. And also put a cover over it. Just putting a cover over it will keep the dirt and hay and the stuff from the tack room from landing in your grooming box.
Good point. Well, thank you. And I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's this place. When I walked in here, I could spend days in here.
Frequently, people will come in and they will say, there's nothing like this in my state. And I'll say, don't worry, there are 49 other states that don't have a store like this.
Thank you again for having me. It's really cool.
Certainly our pleasure.
Don't forget to send your questions to mail@horsegirltv.com, and you could be featured on a future episode. Well, I'd say that's about it, but there's more. Tune in next time when I actually go fox hunting.